Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. In previous video, I have shown you how to design for this one, that is add new question. When I click on this, a new user control is visible like this, and how to connect this user control with this button. So if you have not watched that video, then just go to description, there I put the link for my previous video, or you can simply do one thing, just click on the suggestion on the right side of the screen. Okay, so in this video, I'm going to create the database and I'm going to show you how to backend code for this user control. So here you can see this, when I click on these, nothing happens. Okay, so let me close this and let's start working on this one. So first thing what we have to do is we have to actually change the design name for all of these stuff. So I'm going to start with this one. So click on this and go to design. In the properties, select for design and name over here. I'm going to change this one to txt set. After this, we have to also change the label name because we have to show and hide this label. So I'm going to change this one to label no set, and this one, that will be question label. I'm going to change the name, this one to L will be capital and question label, so that we can easily identify this label. In the same way, we have to change the name for this one, that is txt options question, actually txt question. For this text box, I'm going to change the name to txt option 1. The second one, change this one to txt option 2. For this one, change the name to txt option 3, and for this one, change that name to txt option 4, and finally the last one to txt answer. And this one too, this is the name, this is actually the button. So for this we also have to change the name, so change this one to btn next. Change this one to btn reset, so btn reset, and finally this button to btn finish. Okay, so now the task for these changing names is done. Next thing what we have to do is we have to move back to the Microsoft SQL Server Management Studio, and here you have to first execute this. By default, when you start this one, master will be selected. This one will be selected over here. You have to write this and click on execute. After this, when you click on execute, a new database will be created, that is quiz. Select this from here. After that, you have to write the table, that is create table question, and first column is ID of integer type, identity 1, 1. This will be auto incremented by 1 whenever a new record or row is inserted, and it's a primary key. Okay, so next thing what we have, next column is Q set, that is question set. It is of varchar type and 250 not null. Question number varchar type 250 not null. Question varchar 350 not null. Option A, option B, option C, option D, and answer is varchar 250 not null. So you have to write this query and click on execute. New table will be created in the database. So how you can see the table? So click on this database and it will actually expand. Here you can see this, it's expanding. And here you have to go to the new one, that is quiz database, and not in this one. Click on tables, and here you can see this, all the tables which I have created previously. So the question, this is the table which will be visible, only this one when you execute this query. Okay, so I hope you have executed the query. Just pause the video, write this query and execute. Okay, so next thing what we have to do is just move back over here. Now our table is ready. So next thing, I'm going to actually create one function class in our project. With the help of that class, we are going to actually perform all the operation of related to the insertion, deletion, updation, and fetching the data. Everything will be performed with the help of that class. So I'm going to create one class. So right click on this, the project name, add, and select this class. Click on this. After this, what I have to do is I have to just name this one, and I'm going to name this one function class. function only, simple, just keep it function, nothing more. Click on add. You can name this one as per your need or whatever you like. So first method, inside this function class we have to write some method. So first method will be protected, and this method is going to return the SQL connection. So I'm going to type like this, SQL. It's not showing in suggestion because we have not added the library for this one. Just click on this, okay, like this one. When you hover over this, click on this, gathering suggestions. It will take few seconds. And here you can see this using system.data.sql client. When you click on this, now the color for this one will be changed. And here you can see this is added over here and the color for this one is changed. Okay, so next thing I'm going to name this method get connection, and like this one. After this is showing an error because it's expecting a return type of SQL connection, but we haven't returned anything yet. That's why it's showing an error. So first I'm going to create a SQL connection object. So SQL connection and con is equal to new SQL connection, like this. If I return this con, then the error will be resolved on something like this. Here you can see this, now the error is gone. But what we have to pass is con dot, we have to pass the connection string. So in the connection string, what we have to pass is first thing data source, from where you get this data source. I'm going to show you. We have to write like this, and is equal to, move back over here, just click on file, connect object explorer, copy this one, that is server name, just copy this, cancel, move back over here, just paste it, and here it will show actually one error. You have to put the same slash once more. Okay, after this, now the error is resolved over here. Let me just put a semi-comma over here. After this, put a semicolon over here, and we have to name the database. So database, and our database name is quiz, which we have created. Here you can see this, inside this one, the database we have created is quiz. Whatever selected over here, you have to just name that the same thing over here. Okay, so after this, the database, we have named the database, and finally we have to pass this one. We have to write this integrated security is equal to true, like this. Now our connection is ready. Now with the help of this method, we will get the connection with our quiz database. So now our connection database is connection method, get connection method is ready. Next thing, we need to actually write two more methods, that will be the get data and set data. Okay, so that will be public, and the get data is going to return a data set objects. That way I'm going to write the data set over here, and it will show an error because for this one we also need to add a library. So using system.data, and here you can see this, now the color is changed. I'm going to name this method as get data, like this, not like this. G needs to be small, get data, and this one is going to actually accept one query, one string type argument, that will be the SQL query. Okay, after this, first thing we need a SQL connection. So from where we get the connection, the con is equal to, we have to just call this method, that is get connection. So we have to write get connection, and this method will return a connection object, so we don't need to write this connection string again and again. Okay, now we have the connection. Next thing, we have to create a SQL command. cmd is equal to new SQL command, like this one, and with the help of this we have to pass the connection to this command. So cmd dot connection is equal to con, and now we have to pass the command text. So cmd dot command text is equal to, and this is nothing but this query, we have to pass it over here. So this query, finally we have to execute this query on the database. So for that we need a SQL data adapter, and I'm going to name this one DA is equal to new SQL data data adapter, we are going to create an object for this one, and inside this SQL data adapter we have to pass the command. And finally we need a data set, because when the query is being fired on the database, it actually returns some data in the form of tables, and we have to store it somewhere to return from this method, that is get data. So we have to create an object of data sets. So this will be ds and is equal to new data set. Like this, we have created an object, and da, with the help of data adapter, we have to fill the data into data set like this one. And finally just we have to return data set, and now the error is resolved. Okay, after this we need one more method, that will be the set data, that will only perform the operation, that is insertion of data, deletion, these type of stuff will be performed with the help of this set data. Okay, so public, and this method is not going to return anything, so public void set data, and this is going to actually accept two argument, the string query, and one other stuff is the string message. Okay, now again we need a connection for sure, so we have to write SQL connection con is equal to, and we have to get this connection from the get connection method. After this we have to create a SQL command object, cmd is equal to new SQL command, like this one, cmd dot connection, we have to pass the connection con. Okay, after we get the connection in the cmd, we need to open the connection, so con dot open, and finally we have to execute the query. So for that, cmd dot command text, and we have to pass the query, and finally execute non-query. Why I'm going to use this execute non-query? Because whenever, if suppose any query which is fired on the database and that is only needs to be processed some data, that query will not return anything, then we have to write like this one, execute non-query. After this we have to close the connection, so con.close, like this one. And finally, after performing the operation, whatever, like delete operation and any other operation, then like deletion, updation, these tasks needs to be performed with this one. So after performing the data, we have to show the message. So whatever message we have to show will be being passed by the user when we call this method, that is set data. So that message will be in this variable, that is msg. So I'm going to show that into the message box. So we have to actually add a dependency for this one too, library for this. Just click on this, using system.windows.forms. So just click on this, and now it will add one dependency over here. Here you can see this. Now we can use this message box over here. So message box dot show msg, and this is the whatever we can actually put a name for that pop-up or form. So I'm going to name this one information, and this needs to be have some buttons. So message box button dot ok, and some icon. So message box icon dot information. That's it. Now this method is also ready. I need one more method which I'm going to actually use in the further videos, but I'm writing this code right now so that the task for this function class is done. Okay, so I'm going to write this one, public SQL data reader actually. It's going to return SQL data reader object and get for combo. This method I'm going to use actually to fetch the value which is I'm going to actually set in the combo box. So when I'm going to use this, I'm going to show you how this actually works. For now, you just simply write this. Okay, so first I need one connection, SQL connection con is equal to get connection, like this. After this we have to write the SQL command, cmd is equal to new SQL command, cmd.connection, and we have to pass the connection con. After this we have to open the connection con.open like this. cmd is equal to new SQL command. We have to pass the query and connection like this. And finally we have to create a SQL data reader object SDR, and we have to execute this one, execute reader, and then return this SDR. Now whatever we have to write the code inside this function class is done. Next thing what we have to do is we have to move to the design. So let me close this function class. I hope you are done with this one, so you can actually pause the video and write the code if you want. Okay, so let me close this and move back over here. First thing what I want is when this loads, we need to actually perform some operation, some data. Okay, so what will be that? We have to actually automatically set inside this one. Okay, suppose there are 5 sets already available in my database. So when I open the application, the new set, that is 6, needs to be set into this one. So for that we have to code on the load event of this user control. So double click on the empty space and this will generate a add new question load event. So before we start working with this one, we have to create some objects over here. So first we have to create the object of function class, because I'm going to use the methods whatever we have created. So function fn is equal to new function, its function, this one, like this. After this I need a variable that will be, the string type variable, that is string query. I'm going to name this one. And after this I need a data set object, dataset ds, and one more variable that is of int type to store the question number, and by default for initial it will be 1. So you need to write these stuff. After this move back into this one, add new question load event, and here what we have to do is we have to write the query first. So query, I'm going to write the query. What actually I'm going to write over here is, that is select max, that will the max method is in the SQL. You have to just read this about this max method. Whenever we use this, is the aggregate function in the SQL. So what will happen is, whatever column name we write inside this one, max value from that column will be fetched. Okay, select max q set from the table name. The table name is questions. If I copy this and move back over here and just paste it, not this one, I guess I forgot to copy. Okay, so let me copy this, move back over here, paste it, select this and execute this, and here you can see that it's showing 3 because I have total 3 sets available in my database. So I need to change this one to 4 for the new. Okay, suppose I'm going to insert a new question and a new set. Let me just check. Question set 1, 1, 2 and 3. We have a total of 3. Okay, so next thing, when I start the application, this time the question set automatically needs to be incremented by 1 if there are a total of 3 sets. So I have to insert the new one, that will be the 4th set. Okay, so move back over here, click on this, and now this query is working fine. Our query is ready. Next thing, we have to actually call this method, that is with the help of function object fn dot get data, and inside this one it actually accept one argument of string type. So I'm going to pass the query inside this one, and this method, the get data method, is going to return data set object. So we have to store that somewhere. So we have already created a variable with the data set type, that is ds. So I'm going to store inside this one, data set ds, like this. Whatever the value returned by this get data method will be stored inside this data set, that is ds. Now we have to check if this ds is empty or not. If If there is empty, nothing is in the data set, then we have to set this uh, text 1 in the set text box. Okay, so if ds dot tables 0 dot rows dot count is not equal to 0, and we have to check for null as well. So ds dot tables 0 dot rows 0 dot toString is not equal to null. If it's not null, then whatever the value being fetched inside this dataset needs to be set in that particular field. Okay, so int 64 id is equal to int 64 dot parse ds dot tables 0 dot rows 0 and convert this to string. Okay, finally we have to set this whatever the id or text we get from this when we execute this query. Suppose now I have executed this query and this return 3. Okay, that will be in the first column of this one. Okay, so what will happen is now I have to increment that by 1. Okay, so and we have to set that into the txt set text box. This is the txt set text box. Let me just show you. So make this one a little bit of space. This is txt set. Move back over here and txt set like this dot text. We have to set the text, and here we have to set like this id, and I have to increment it by 1. So id plus 1 dot toString. And if okay, it's showing an error. Let me just check why this is showing an error. This dot tables okay, I have missed open and close brackets, and here you can see this, the error is resolved. Okay, suppose it return if it has some value, then we are going to increment it and set the new value. Okay, if this one is false, it means that if data set is empty, then what we have to do is we have to set 1. So txt set dot text will be 1 like this. And what I have to do is I have to set the question label dot text will be question number dot toString like this. And one more thing. Okay, so what this is, question label, this is the question label. Okay, we have set the name for this one, question label, and we have to set the text. So what text we have to set inside this one, that is question number, this one question number. Initially I have set this one to 1 and question number, and I have set this to converted it to a string and set this one to this particular label. So 1 will be set to this particular label whenever this loads. Okay, one more thing what we have to do is we have to actually hide this label when this form loads. This one, no set exists with this set number. Okay, so label no set dot visible is equal to false. Okay, so now start this and let's check if this one is working or not. So I have started the project. And here you can see this, our project is started. When I click on this, and here you can see this, the set is 4 and the question number is 1. But we observe one small stuff, that this whatever the text inside this one is very small and this is of different colors. So we have to change the properties for these text box one more time. And here you can see this, the question number is also 1 and the set is 4. If I change this one to 2, nothing happens for now because we haven't coded for that one. So let me close this and move back over here to this one. Add new question, design, just select this, and all the text fields one by one by pressing the URL key and move back over here to the properties. In the properties, we have to change the fill color, not fill color. We have to change the for color. So where it is? Yeah, here we have the for color. Change this one to black, and we have to increase the size for the text fields. So move back over to the top, click on this one, select this, click on these three dots and select 12 and hit OK. Okay, size for this one is increased very badly, so okay, what I have to do is CTRL Z. It's not working, so move these all on the top little bit like this. Sometimes it happens. Okay, so now every field is in the place. So move back to the complete project and let me adjust these. I'm going to copy the size for this one. Okay, move back over here, just click on everything is selected. Now we have to just set the size. So size, I'm going to set this one 340,36, hit enter, and after this we have to place this on the proper position like this one. We have to simply place like this. Okay, we have to adjust these manually like this. Okay, so we have to adjust this, the fourth one also like this one, and the fifth one over here. So just drag and drop it like this. Now everything is in place. And one more thing, what I have to do is I just want to change the set for the text alignment for this one needs to be in the center. Okay, so just click on this and change the text alignment, search for this one. So change this one to center. Now whatever the text written inside this one will be in the center of the screen. So I'm going to start this once again and let's check how this actually looks right now. Okay, so our project is started. I'm going to click on this and here you can see this. Now 4 is in the center and it's in the black color. Now whatever I write inside this one is also in the black color and this is looking really nice. Okay, so now the load event work is done. Next thing what I have to do is when I click on this next button, I want to fetch the data from these all text fields and save into the database. Okay, so this one is a little bit on the lower side, so I want to move these all stuff a little bit upside. Okay, so let me exit this and move back over here, adjust these. Yeah. After this, what I want is when I click on this next button, I want to fetch the data from all these text fields and insert into the particular table, that is question. So just double click on this. This will generate a click event for this button. So just double click on this. BDN next click event is generated. First thing what I have to do is I have to fetch the data from the every text fields. So I'm going to start with the first one, that is string question set. That will be fetched from txt set dot text. After this we have string question number, so we need to fetch that question number from this variable, that is question number, this one. Okay, after this we have to fetch question, so we have to extract this from txt question dot text. After this we have options, so I'm going to name this one option 1 is equal to txt options 1 dot text. The string, we have the second option, so option 2 is equal to txt option 2 dot text. After this we have option 3 is equal to txt option 3 dot text. These are the name of text fields. If you have named something else, then you have to write the same name. How can you find the name? Just move back over here, click on this and search for the name, that is txt question. This one txt question option 1, txt option 2. In the same way you can find the name for this one, the design name. Okay, so now we have extracted the fetch the value of these three options. So we need to actually fetch the value of option 4 is equal to txt option 4 dot text, and we have to actually fetch the value from the answer too. So ans and txt answer dot text. Okay, now we have extracted or fetched the value from all the text field. Next thing what we have to do is we have to just write the query. So query is equal to, I'm going to write the query insert into table name, that is questions. We have created a table with the name this one question. Move back over here and here you can see this, we have questions. Okay, don't miss this. Yes, if any letter is in capital, then you have to write that in capital. Okay, so move back over here, questions, and we have to mention the column names. So move back over here, the column name is first is question set. In the same order you have to copy this. So question set, here you can see this, I have already written this in this format, that is q set q number. Then we have questions, we just make some space. Now we can see this q set, then q number, n is capital, question, option A, option B, option C, option D, and ans. So I'm going to copy this and move back over here and paste it inside this one. Now we have pasted this. After this we have to write values like this one, and open bracket, close bracket, and just do like this, single, double, plus plus, double, and single. Inside this one we have to start with the question set, q set. Okay, next thing we have is question number. So comma, then single quotes, double quotes, plus plus, double quotes, and single quotes. Inside this one we have to write q number, semicolon, single quotes, double, plus plus, and inside this one we have to, next thing we have question. After this we have, after question we have option 1. After option 1, let me just copy this part, and we have actually 4 options, right? So 2, 3, and 4. We have to change this one, option 2, this one to option 3, this one to option 4. And after these 4 options we have answer. So the same way, okay, sorry, single, double, plus plus, double quotes, then single quotes, and inside this one finally we have answers like this. Now our query is ready. Okay, so pause the video and write the query like this, then like this. That's it. After you are done with the query, then move to the next line, and here let me just minimize this one a little bit. Okay, after query what I have to do is I have to actually call the method that is set data. That method is in the function class. So fn dot set data, and inside this one we have to pass the query and question added like this. This is a pop-up message we want to show to the user. After this we have to actually update the question number also. So question number, we need to increment it by 1 because new question is added. And in the same way, now after updation what I have to do is I have to show this one in the label also. So question label dot text is equal to question number dot toString, like this one. And one more thing, what I have to do is I have to clear all the text fields, right? So I'm going to write one method over here to clear all text fields. So public void clear all, and inside this one we have to write this txt question dot clear txt option 1 dot clear txt option 2. I'm going to copy this one, paste it, txt option 3, txt option 4, dot clear, and finally we have to clear the answer also, to txt answer dot clear. Now the method is ready. Now I also have to call this method. Okay, so I'm going to call this method clear all over here, this one. For now I'm going to comment this. Okay, so let's start this. And I'm going to insert a new question in the fourth set. So click on this, ABC, A, B, C, and option 4 BD, and the answer is C. So when I click on next, question added, click on OK, and here you can see this question number is updated to 2. Now if I close this time the set will be 5. So let me close this and let's start this, and this time add new question, and here you can see this, the set is 5 and question number is 1. So this one is working fine. Next thing what I have to do is I have to just click on reset. What will happen when I click on reset? I want to clear all the text fields. So let me close this. So again we have to call this method, that is clear all, when this button is clicked, that is reset. So double click on this and this will generate a btn reset click event. But this time whenever we click on that reset button, we don't simply want to clear the fields. What I want is I want to ask from user that are you sure you want to clear the fields, because if you haven't saved the data then the data will be lost. Okay, so if message box dot show, and inside this one we have to ask user unsaved data will be lost, and I'm going to name this one warning, and I'm going to name this message box needs to have some buttons, so yes and no from the user confirmation. If user click on yes, then the data will be deleted, and if user select no, then the data will be not deleted, nothing will happen. So message box, it needs to have some icon, so message box icon will be warning, and we have to check that if user has selected yes. So dialog result dot yes, like this. Inside this one, this if condition, we have to just call the method clear all, like this. And let's check this. Start the project. Now our project is started, and I click on this one, and I'm going to add some random data inside this one. All of these, for now these texts are not saved, this question is not saved, and I'm going to click on this reset. Here you can see this unsaved data will be lost. If I click on no, nothing happens. If I click on yes, every data is cleared. So this button is also working fine. So next thing what we have to do is we have to code for this finish button. What exactly will happen when I click on this finish? So when I click on this finish, the set number needs to be updated. It means that when I click on finish, the questions I want to add to this particular set is done. Okay, so when I click on finish, this data will be updated to 6 and the question number will be set to 1. So just close this. Okay, so move back over here, just double click on this finish, This will generate a btn finish click event, and here we have to do the same stuff, something similar to the reset. So message box dot show, I want to show or ask the user for something, that is set will be changed, and this message box name will be warning. Okay, and this needs to be have some button, so message box button dot yes and no. Message box icon will be warning dot warning, and this will be dialog result, and we have to check that if user has clicked yes. Okay, after this what we have to do is we have to update the txt set dot text and we have to set it int 64 dot parse dot, we have to fetch the set number, the current set, from the txt set dot text dot to string, and we have to increment it by 1, and finally after incrementing we have to convert this into the true string. What exactly we did is, first we have fetched the value from the txt set, the current value, that is 5, right? Then incremented it by 1, that is 6. Now we have 6. Now again we have converted this into the integer type, then we can perform the addition operation. After this finally we have converted that into the string type to set that value through this txt set. Okay, after this we have to set the question label dot text is equal to 1. Okay, now task for the finish button is done. Let's start this and let's check if this one is working or not. So this is not going to actually update anything in the database. When we click on the finish, it will actually keep changing the records. Just click on this and here you can see this finish set will be changed. If I click on no, nothing happens. If I click on yes, the set is updated to 6 and the label is 1. Click once again and click on yes, yeah, it's 7. Okay, so one more thing what I want is, when I change this one 1 or 2, something like this, if I have some data, then I want to reset the text for these whenever the set is changed. Here you can see this, if I change this one to 5, nothing happens for now because we haven't coded for this one. So what we have to do is, if I select 1, then if in the set 1 we have 10 questions, then the question number here needs to be 11. If I select 2 in this set 2, if we have 5 questions, then the question number, next question what we want to add will be 6 over here. So in the same way we have to code. So let me close this and move back over to the design, add new question, move back to this text field, just click on this and let me maximize this one a little bit and click on this events, and here txt changed, text change. Just double click on this and this will generate a txt set text change event, and here we have to do something like this. If first thing I have to check that if txt set dot text is not equal to null. If it's not equal to null, then only we want to perform the following operation. So query, if you write the query, select question number, this is the question number, Q and O is the column name for the questions column. Okay, so question number from questions is a table where question set, we have to fetch this question set from the particular text field, and that text field is Q txt set dot text. Okay, so now our query is ready. Next thing what we have to do is we have to call the method ts.fn.getData. Inside this one we have to pass the query. Okay, so now this method will return the value whatever the maximum question number will be there. select queue number from the questions where question set is this one. Okay, this will select the question number for the particular set. If ds.tables 0.rows.count is not equal to 0, and we also need to check for null, so 0.rows 0 0 to string dot to string is not equal to null, then we want to perform some operation, and else what we want to do is question label dot text. I have to set this one to 1. After this we have to set the question number, that is the variable, and we have to set this one to int 64 dot parse, and we have to set this question label dot text dot to string, and label no set dot visible is equal to true. What will happen if the set, suppose if I enter set number 15, that 15 set is not available in the database, then it will show that no set available with this number. It means that label no set, that label, that is this label, will be visible, and the question number is set to 1. Okay, and in this one, inside this, if there is some set available, then what we have to do is we have to search for question label dot text is equal to ds dot tables 0 dot rows dot count plus 1. You have to increment it by 1 dot to string, like this one, and question number you also need to increment or change it according to the set. So convert this into 64 dot parse. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to just copy this line and paste it over here, and let's check if this one is working fine or not while we change the text in the set or not. So I've started the project. Click on this one. Now 5, if I select 1, and here you can see this in the set number 1 we have total of 10 questions, so now we are ready to insert the 11. If I change this one to 2, now in the second number we have total 5 questions. In the set 3 we have 2 questions. In the 4 we have 1 question. If 5, no set exists with this set number, and the question number is 1 is visible over here. Okay, so now we can insert. Suppose if I have some data, random data inside this one, and if I change the set number, then okay, so this is not cleared, so we actually want to clear this when the set is changed. Okay, so let me just exit this. So first clear, call the method clear all over here. Now start this. Okay, no error is here, not to worry about that. So here you can see this. Now we have random data inside this one, and if I change this one or delete this one and click on 1, and here you can see this, now every field is deleted or clear. Yeah, this one is nice. 34, no set exists. So the task for add question is done, and everything is working fine. Here you can see this when I click on reset, and or we can click on finish. Yeah, this one is working fine. Reset, yes, everything is working fine. So in the next video I'm going to show you how to design for this one, that is update question, and how to backend code for this, that is update question. So let me close this and let me show you what exactly I'm going to show you in the next video. So I'm going to start this complete project, and when I click on this, this is definitely going to show the login page. So I've started the project. click on this teacher, and this is btech days. Copy this, paste it, login, and here for task for this one is done. I'm going to show you how to perform and how to create this one, how to create this user control, and how to connect this with this one, that is update question, and how to backend code for this and what exactly this button is. Okay, so till then, subscribe, share with your friends. Thanks for watching, and hit the like button.